Hey guys, it's Selma and we're doing inspirational videos today, so let's get right to it. Alright. Alright, this is my guest. You want to go ahead and state your name?
Sure. My name is Kendra Butt.
And do I have permission to record you?
Yes.
Okay. And how long have you known each other?
It has been a while. We've known each other through a personal friend, and I think it's probably been 4-ish
Sounds about right.
years
Yeah.
that she met you, and so we met one another.
Right.
So,
right.
yes.
Okay, so you know why I'm doing the video.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just throw out some questions and just answer them the best you can.
Okay.
Okay, so you and your husband had 3 kids, and you were planning on having another.
Yes, we wanted to have one more.
Okay, and what did you find out?
Well, we had 2 kids, and then we had another, and then we went to have the 4th, because we wanted 2 and 2. And when we went to have the 4th, we wanted it, the 3rd to have her friend. And we went in for the ultrasound because I have to have early ultrasounds. And we went in for the ultrasound, and I saw on the screen, and it was like, what is that? And I'm almost confident I said, what is that? But I knew what it was, and there were 2 sacs, and I was just, I started bawling. Not in a good way, unfortunately, I have to admit. And my husband was sitting next to me, like, squeezing my hand, like, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay. And the ultrasound technician, she said, this is my favorite part of my job. And I was like, oh, can I punch her? I just, oh man, that was a day. That was a day.
I can imagine.
And we sat in the waiting room and saw all these people coming out, like, for their first time with their ultrasound, and Tony and I are sitting there with this pack of ultrasounds with 2 babies, and we just are speechless. And we see these other parents walking out, and we're like, look at them with their 1 baby ultrasound. And we didn't know what to think.
Right.
It was crazy.
Was it a normal pregnancy?
Typically, I'm a bit difficult. I've had 2 miscarriages in the past, very early on, so I get an early ultrasound, and then I get watched regularly. But when they found out it was twins, they had to get more. They wanted to check blood levels, and that was just early on. So they checked additional blood levels, and they checked my nutrition, because I was still teaching Zumba. I teach Zumba. And so I was teaching Zumba. I had twins. They wanted to make sure I was gaining enough weight because of all the working out. I was teaching I think I was still teaching 6 days a week. So they kind of got mad at me, and I actually lost weight at first. So they had to put me on with a nutritionist and all that sort of stuff.
So you had twins, mm-hmm. and you had twin boys. Mm-hmm. And tell me about baby E and what went on with him.
Well, when we went to get the sex, that was the 18-week ultrasound. Typically, babies bend their knees to sit frog-legged, yeah. Edison was sitting with his legs straight out, and his arms straight out, and so that's not common. And so they were having trouble opening his legs just to find his sex. They did find that she's like, I'm very confident it is a boy, but I need you to speak to the doctor. And I was like, okay. And so we spoke with the doctor, and she said, as far as she could tell, it looked that he had at least one clubbed foot, and then that he might have more limitations on top of that, and wanted me to go upstairs to maternal fetal medicine to have another specialist look into it, and that she would actually follow me throughout my pregnancy as well. So so I went up to see her immediately and waited up there, and that was just kind of like my heart's racing.
Absolutely.
Like, what's wrong?
Right.
And they explained to us that he has arthrogryposis, and which it was just sort of like, what? And the way that they explained it is that it's kind of like fixed joints. There's contractures in any of the bony joint areas, making it so that they can't bend very easily. And if they can, it's not much. And so what is odd, though, there are some of the kids who are the exact opposite and have no muscle tone, and they're sort of floppy on top or on bottom. And they are still considered to have arthrogryposis. So it presents itself in a variety of different ways, and what she says to us is, I can't tell you how he's going to turn out until he comes out. I have no idea, like, how affected he'll be. And so we Googled it to see kind of what sort of, like, what we might be coming out with. And it was just like, whoa.
Right.
Because it can involve anything from swallowing to, like, needing a trach tube, all kinds of stuff, and it was overwhelming. And so, like, I was just like, we canceled Christmas. Like, we had a Christmas party planned, and we were just like, I'm sick, and I was just like, I had the flu, and then I ended up getting the flu, which was super. But yeah, it was something. So
now when he was born, and I know you guys he's had to have multiple surgeries. So, you know, I know you've had to travel out of state for the surgeries. How has he handled that?
He actually doesn't care. He doesn't care. He just sits in the back of the car, and what's funny is we drive the Nissan, so there's no, like, DVD player or anything like that, and he just hangs out in the back of the car. And I mean, what's neat about Edison, he came out and his legs are straight and his arms are straight. He's had 8 surgeries in 5 years to release his elbow joints, his hip joints, a foot, one of the feet, and there's some more. He had one up here to pull his arm out here, and then they added a plate. So yeah, he's had all kinds of good stuff, but he just sits in the car and he sleeps, and that's what he does on the way there. On the way back, he'll fall asleep as well, and he's just fine with it. And we go and we stay overnight at this wonderful place called the Haven House, which connects with the Shriners Hospital, and they give you a discounted rate, and they feed you breakfast and dinner. So it's really just amazing, that experience. And then they have a big bed for us, and then a twin bed for him in the room. It's really neat. And he loves it. It's like a little sleepover.
Vacation or something, right?
Yeah.
So with traveling for surgery, and you know, how have you managed work, 4 other kids' schedules, and how do you juggle all that? That
is the hard part. Luckily, my husband's schedule is pretty flexible, and he actually spends a lot of the day in St. Louis, On the phone for work.
Okay.
And then, but he does the driving too, and like, we don't like to go just one of us driving on our own. And we typically go at like 5 o'clock at night and arrive at like 10 their time or something. So it's just a lot. And then my work, I'm working as a substitute teacher and a Zumba instructor. So I have to get off work for teaching and for Zumba. And so it's a lot.
Right.
But we just kind of make it work. We leave late on one night and then stay just for the full day on the Tuesday or whatever. And
So, what is the biggest thing you've learned from baby E?
well, with Edison, it's just Edison. He doesn't see himself as different at all. And so there are a lot of people that, you get a lot of sort of sympathy, or you get a lot of worry and think that it must be hard. And he doesn't think it's hard. Like, he just thinks he has to just figure out another way. Like, that's just his life. Like, if he can't do what you're doing, then he's got to figure something out, and that's okay. He'll figure it out. I mean, you see those disability posters that say, "I'm not your inspiration, I'm your neighbor." Well, I totally disagree with them. Absolutely disagree 100%, because, like, I would think my son would love to be anyone's inspiration.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
if he is doing something and it inspires you, like, well, wow, he can do that. I should be able to try and do that or whatever. Then I think he'd be really excited about that. So, yeah, I think that's what I've learned from him, is that he just takes it and rolls with it. Which he did actually roll for a long time. He didn't crawl, he rolled. So, I mean, when we go to Zumba, he'd be rolling to the kid right, and a lot of the parents or whatever would walk by and be like, and I'd be like, that's how he goes.
The last question is, if you think baby E, I mean, they're not babies anymore, but if you think baby E could speak to everyone, what do you think he would tell everyone about life?
I think, like I said, he doesn't see himself as different, and he doesn't see his life as different at all. In fact, he just was trying to get out of the back door yesterday, and he says to me, can I have help? And I said, no, you do it. And he says, boy, that looks like a long way. And I was like, well, you're going to have to figure it out. And he goes, oh, I know. And then he kind of wiggled along the back of the wall, sat down, and turned around. And he's telling me his feet are out the back door and onto the patio. And he says, and then I'm going to put my arm here, and I'm going to lift. And he stands up, and he's like, see, I did it. And I'm like, I know you did it. And he's just like, he would say, just try it. Like, just go for it. He just do it. Because he tries everything. He wants to do it all. Always, nothing's going to stop him. He keeps telling me, he's like, I want to go do gymnastics. And I'm like, they don't have a class for you, but I will find you one.
Right. Right.
They're not ready for you, even if you're ready for them.
Right.
So yes, we have to kind of figure out ways, because he wants to do it all.
Right.
So
That's great. I mean, that shows, that you guys have raised him to, to
just
try it,
yeah.
know?
Yeah, that's what I would say. If he had anything that he wanted to say to anyone, I think that's what he would have learned from all of this.
Well, I appreciate you giving me some time to talk about your life because obviously this is something very personal.
Yeah,
So,
that's fine.
so I appreciate it. And guys, this is Selma Cash and Kinder Butt signing out. Thanks.